Today we're talking about how to lose weight with weight vests, and this is something that we did with James before we led up to the Cricket World Cup, which we just spoke about on the previous podcast, and it worked incredibly well. Now you are, you come back a kilo and a half, 2 kilos heavier, I think, after the Cricket World Cup. You ate lots of good food in South Africa, many steaks and stuff. I don't blame you. Don't blame you at all. So we've got the cricket season starting in April, isn't it? We've got a couple of kilos to drop, so we're going to go back to your weight vest protocol. Do you want to run people through what your protocol was?
Yeah, exactly. And also to point out, this was when I did this initially. By the way, I'm not wearing my weight vest at the moment because it's so cold. So we haven't started yet. We're just discussing this before, but what the plan is and what we're going to do moving forward. So this is probably the best weight loss plan I've ever been on in my entire life before. I think it's the best plan we had with our clients. So we're going to give you two versions. One is the one that I will be following, which is not practical for most people. One of the two things. Applicable. Any of those words, they count for most people. But we're going to also give you a variation that's probably most people can do. It won't get you the results as fast, but we can work on the first one first. So yeah, the goal is to lose 2 kilos as healthily as fast as possible. We can't just lose weight and just quicker way to lose weight, chop off a limb. If you're going to do that, we can do that. But we're going to lose body fat and bring it down. So it's not too big numbers. 2 kilos is about 5 pounds. So it's not a huge amount of numbers, but I want to lose it as fast as possible. So if you're trying to lose weight with a weight vest, right, the first thing before you go anywhere near the weight vest is to determine what is your calorie deficit. So if you don't know what your calorie maintenance is, for example, mine is 2,568. We know that because we've tested it over the years, and that's roughly where it is on average everyday basis based on me training. So some people are higher, some people are lower, but that's where my body is, where it maintains weight. So I know for me to drop down and lose weight, I have to bring down to 1,900 calories, and that is the deficit for me. So it's about 600 calories deficit, right? That is my optimal place. So aside from the weighted vest, I am going to be eating at a calorie deficit of 600 calories at 1,900 calories per day. And I'll be doing this by tracking my food like I do religiously when I'm on a diet, because it's the fastest way for me to know what I'm putting in my body and to make sure I'm adhering to the calorie deficit. You can't argue with biology. It's calories in, calories out. You need to understand that. Isn't that right, Josh?
It is, absolutely. But I think the advantage, and this is where it all started with the experiment, because we did do a podcast about this last year, is to try, you can potentially, depending on how much you wear the vest, have a lower deficit, so you don't have to quite go as low as 500 or 600. But you've got to then increase your NEAT, which is what the weight vest is all about. Which the weight vest does help you do that, especially if you, like you wear it all day, so you can potentially get away with a smaller deficit, because deficits are hard. We all know that, and people struggle with them. So the idea behind all this in the first place was that, okay, let's try and get a smaller deficit. Let's add the weight vest and see how this goes. And obviously, it did work very well for you.
Well, exactly. So I went for an aggressive deficit from the start anyway. So we're averaging about 1,900 calories. So again, I understand you can go for a lower deficit, but we're talking the most optimal, fastest way to lose weight with a weight vest, I think. So we're going to talk about that today. So I've gone into a standard deficit that I would do on any plan. But what happens is normally after 2 to 4 weeks, you tend to plateau. The body adapts to that new calorie deficit. So therefore, you've got to keep decreasing it. But I never decrease it. I keep it the same. So I've gone for an aggressive deficit, but keeping that deficit the same throughout my entire process.
And the good thing was you never felt hungry at any point, actually, did you? I remember you saying that, yeah.
And that's part of the gravitastat theory, which I found worked for me. So I was feeling good. The body was just didn't want to eat food because I had this extra weight on my back. So that's the first thing, is you can understand what your calorie deficit is and maintain that. So how long will I stay in that deficit? For as long as it takes me to lose those 2 kilos. That's the most important thing. So if you've got 10 kilos to lose, well, maybe you're going to stay in a deficit for that long. But the point is 2 kilos isn't going to be a long deficit. It's potentially 2 to 4 weeks if I get everything right. I think that's the key thing here now. So that's the first thing. When it comes to the weight vest, the protocol is this. I'm going to wear the weight vest for at least 8 hours a day, right? For at least 8 hours a day. So I work at home mostly with a stand-up desk. So you can't wear a weight vest at home if you're sitting down at a desk. It just isn't going to work. You have to be at a stand-up desk, standing up.
Again, come back to the gravitostat theory, which we have spoken about as well.
So you're going to stand up all day long. You can't sit down. It just ain't going to work. So you're wearing a weight vest for 8 hours a day, standing up. Now, on top of this, I'm going to go for a 30-minute weighted walk every single day. So that's the most important thing as well. You're not just static and standing around wearing your weight vest. You're going to go for a 30-minute continuous walk at some point during the day too. That is your baseline, right? That is your baseline starting point. Am I working out aside from that? Yes, I am. Am I wearing my weight vest during my workouts? No, right? So I'm not wearing my weight vest during my workouts. I'm just wearing the weight vest when I'm not working out. Now, there are caveats to this. Will I wear a weight vest to go meet somebody in the coffee shop? No, right? So I'm wearing the weight vest at home most of the day, walking around, or if I go for a walk on my own. You can't go to the shops and stuff. It looks like you're wearing a bulletproof vest, right? People look at you all strange. It's not going to happen. But you can wear it over a jacket. You can wear it over certain things if you want to hide it up. You just look like the Michelin Man, basically. So that's the first bit. So I'm wearing that for 8 hours a day, as often as possible, and trying to keep it on as long as possible, and then going for that 30-minute walk. Now, working out is separate. So I'm going to start working out maybe 5 to 6 times a week as well. Now, in terms of how much weight you should wear, so we recommend for men starting at about 5 kilos. So you wear 5 kilos throughout your day. And then every week, for every bit of weight you lose, you add a kilo on. That's an extra 2 pounds if you're working in pounds. So week 1, 5 kilos. Week 2, 6 kilos. Week 3, 7 kilos. And we keep adding until you hit your desired number. And that's where the trick with the NEAT comes in. So we're adding more weight to trick the body to thinking it's adapting. It's still at the same weight. So we're playing around with this at every step of the way. And that's it, really. I think that's the simplest way to put it, is like we're just wearing the weight vest. We're adding load each week. We're keeping a calorie deficit, which is the most important thing. And we're going for a daily walk whilst working out the entire time. And that is the fastest way we know to lose weight with a weight vest in 2024. In fact, I think it's the fastest way to lose weight healthily, period, we've ever done before in our life. No, right, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the old gravitostat helped regulate your appetite. Like you said, you didn't feel hungry, helps maintain muscle mass, improves posture, increases, NEAT and calorie burn. There's so much good stuff going on there. But as we say, wearing a weight vest for 8 hours a day is not practical for most people because, as you say, you work from home. You have a stand-up desk, so it works for you. What would be the best way to apply this for people who work in an office and are not obviously going to wear their weight vest around the office? Well, I mean, some people might want to.
Yeah, if you can do that, great. If you're man enough to do it and you don't mind being stared at, looked at, and people going, what the hell are they doing? Absolutely. So the simplest way to do it is to make sure we're walking at least 10,000 steps a day. But in an ideal world, we're doing a daily walk with the weight vest on for 30 minutes plus. That's it. That's the other option.
Exactly. Get as many of those steps as you can weighted, especially continuous.
Exactly. And ideally, every day is a benchmark, and every week add that extra kilo. So we're starting to walk continuously and stick with it. It's not.
Yeah. So every time you lose a bit of weight. Yeah. Go on, James.
No, and stick with it, because people go, I'm not losing weight. Promise you, what we found was it had the snowball effect. Week 3, week 4, week 5 was when it started to really kick into place and started to work. So follow that.
Yeah, I think that's something in terms of weight loss people need to bear in mind as well. It's never a linear journey. There will be ups and downs always. I mean, your weight can fluctuate by several pounds a day on any given day anyway, depending on what you've eaten and your water weight and the volume of food and whether you've been in the toilet. Not to be too graphic about it, but it can. So don't get disheartened if you go as a week or two and you haven't lost anything, because as long as you're doing the right things, you're doing enough steps, you're wearing your weight vest as much as possible, you're in a deficit, you're increasing the weight of your vest, it will work.
Exactly. There you go. That's our tips. So if you're looking to lose weight by wearing a weighted vest in 2024, that's our approach and that's our process.
There we go. Give it a go and feedback to us. Let us know how it goes. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you want to find out more about our system of training, go to strengthmatters.com/system.